Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. So, today is the last day for Inktober, or just the end of October in general, which means it's Halloween. So happy Halloween. If you don't celebrate it, then happy end of October, maybe early November, or November 1st, I guess. We'll see. I wanted to share with you guys kind of a few illustrations that I did for the last little prompts that I did for Inktober. Because the last ones that I did in my sketchbook, or just like in general, a good chunk of the ones I did in my sketchbook I actually really don't like. So I decided that I wanted to tackle them a little bit differently. So in the beginning of the video, I showed you guys 3 different fine liners. So I have the Faber-Castell, I think Eco Pigment, and it's in 0.3 and 0.1. And then I had a Staedtler fine liner. I think it's in 0.05, and I don't really use that one, so I kind of stick with the 0.01 for all of Shu. I'm drawing Shu, by the way, so Yamino Shu, which is a Nijisanji VTuber, part of Nijisanji EN. So all of Inktober, I did my props based on the members of Nijisanji EN. So I went from, like, basically in order, I believe, of their debut teasers. So going from Lazulite to Obsidia to Etheria to Luxium to Noctix to Aluna. And then that brings me up to 1 to 26. So day 27 to day 31, I kind of just chose members that I wanted to either redo, or it was like more specifically themed to something that happened. So yeah, we'll get into that a little bit later, because I'll be showing you guys my Inktober little sketchbook tour right at the end, so you guys can see each of the drawings that I did for Inktober. Not gonna lie, I think at the start, all the way up until probably maybe Reimu-ish, are the ones that I kind of liked, and then after that I kind of just started running out of time. I mean, I think for Anna and Nina I also ran out of time. I tried my best to keep them very small and minimal for some portion, and then I decided to just fill up the page with the single character, which I think was a bad idea. I think I was maybe too ambitious with the materials that I was using, and I didn't really like the look anyways, so I decided to do these ones on separate pieces of cardstock, cut down to about 5 by 7 so that they can fit in my sketchbook. And yeah, it's just a piece of cardstock for both this one of Shu. I just wanted to show you guys a little bit of real-time inking, but we're going to quickly switch back into time-lapse so you guys can see exactly how kind of tedious the line work is. So I am not a fan of inking or line work in general, because I don't know, I just don't like how I do line work that much. I definitely need more practice, but it's definitely something that I don't do as often. I definitely prefer to usually paint my lines or do line work afterwards as like detailing for illustrations and stuff. But doing lines prior, sometimes like when I'm coloring stuff, it makes it feel more like a coloring book. But the way how I approach Shu's for the most part, and I think Shu came out the best compared to any of the ones that I did for, I think Shu is day 28. So day 29 I did Eki Eveland, which is the one I'm going to do after Shu. And then day 30 I did Yugo based on his cover of Queen of Hearts. And then the last day, which is day 31, I decided to do Uki, because he also uploaded a cover called Waltz of Malice, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. Not gonna lie, it's like 2:30 in the morning of the 31st, because I wanted to make sure that this video came out on the 31st and on time on Monday, because it is Halloween. So yeah, all of those ones were done on cardstock. I decided to do all the fine liner detailing and stuff first. Now initially I was actually thinking I was gonna leave it as just a fine liner kind of pen drawing, so that's why I'm putting a lot of value. I'm trying to push a lot of the lines and making sure that texture reads correctly and stuff for Shu, because otherwise I probably would have not done this weird background for Shu, because I decided to fill it in kind of like going really dark on the edges and then kind of fading as we get closer. But then I quickly realized that I might want to add pops of color So I was going to pull out my alcohol markers, and it kind of worked out because I can actually use alcohol markers on this paper just because my sketchbook paper is super thin, so it kind of renders the next page, like especially like the back of the page that I color on, like the ghosting of it would be really heavy. So I'm kind of glad I used the cardstock so I could play around with the markers a little bit and I don't have to worry about bleed through, since I'm going to be taping these into my sketchbook later onto different pages that I kind of want to, you know, cover up the space or just fill up the space a little bit more. Because in my sketchbook, I've been sketching with pencil a lot, where it's just like general planning, so it's not really finished work, nor is it really that visible. So, you know, these can kind of act as a filler in between those pages. So for Shu, I did come to the realization that I did want to use some kind of alcohol marker just because I wanted that flat color. And I was kind of fed up of using water-based markers because I've used that for the entirety of the rest of Inktober, and there's something I like about water-based markers that gives a little bit more freedom. Like, it doesn't have to look really polished or super finished. I can leave it quite sketchy, but I think I was getting sick and tired of that. So I tried my best to make the next few a little bit more polished, so you guys won't be able to see the process for Yugo or Uki's, which is day 30 and 31, but I'm showing you guys Shu and Ike, which is day 28 and 29. So for Shu, because I wanted that flat black, I decided not to really put that much highlights into his hair for his kind of like the base of his hair, because he has black hair for the most part, and then he has like purple streaks, and then he obviously has the little yellow swoopy part of his hair, or the group of bananas on his head. I don't know what you want to call it. I think like, yeah, minions would know what I'm talking about, or just like general fans of Niji Sanji En would know what I'm talking about. So I decided to put the colors for his hair, I believe, his eyes, and the little like magical effects, like the things behind him, as color, just because I wanted those to stand out. And yeah, I believe the pose I did Shu in was a pose that I've seen on Pinterest before. It's basically, I think it's like a girl with full bangs with, I don't know if her eyes are bloodshot, but she's basically just prying open basically one of her eyes. So that's what I remembered, so that's what I did Shu in. And it was kind of nice because I do like the fact that Shu and Mista's illustrator, or they call it their mamas, basically whoever designs their models, she usually draws their characters with really sharp, kind of long fingernail, kind of pointy fingers. So I really like adding that for Shu and Mista a lot if I can. So I wanted to add a hand in for Shu. But yeah, for the hair, I did Copic, or not Copics, just alcohol markers, and then I added a little bit of fine liner to fade out the hair a little bit if I needed to. I added a cool gray. I believe I'm actually using Arctic's alcohol markers. So yeah, it's just like bullet nibs for the most part. And let me think, I'm losing my train of thought right now. Yeah, just filling up some black areas that I wanted to have either flat values with the markers, and then I'm adding some simple shading by adding a cool gray with a alcohol marker as well, and then any of like the textures and stuff I did with the fine liner, so I could get more of a, I don't know, like less of a matte black kind of look. I kind of wanted that gradation, which kind of makes it a little bit softer in some areas. And I have a little mushroom vacuum to get rid of my pencil shavings. I rarely use this, so I was actually kind of shocked that it still works. But here's Shu. Shu is done, so here we go. And oh, I'm actually going to show you guys the close up. So I didn't really do it super cleanly, but I actually really like how I did the lines and the texture with the pen. It's been a while since I've worked with these kinds of fine liners, I feel like. But I guess we're moving on to Eki Evelyn. So Eki Evelyn is basically kind of like Ike Evelyn's alter ego kind of thing. Basically like the flipped version. So he's a little bit more kind of sinister looking, evil, a little bit more red toned rather than like that olivey-ish brown hair color into blue. It's kind of like that olivey green color, brown, whatever you want to call it, into red. So that's kind of what I'm going to be focusing on. I'm going to make sure that things are a little bit more towards red. And I decided to do the pose with a skull. So I think this one in Uki's that you're gonna see I did with skulls, and the reason being is that I was planning the illustration for Masaki. So if you've seen on my Instagram or my Twitter, for Halloween, I decided to draw my OC Masaki kind of with a skull. And I spent a lot of time rendering the skull, but I was too intimidated to actually start drawing it like digitally or just like planning it out. So I did kind of a test run with this illustration. So I was looking up references of skulls and stuff because it's been quite a while. I haven't done kind of like drawings of just bone structure in general since probably sculpture class, probably, I think, because I used to have I probably still have it somewhere, a basically, what's it called, etching plate book of master drawings of the body, and there's a lot of like bone structure, skulls, all that jazz. So yeah, I used to do studies of those back in university. So but a lot of fun working on this. I realized quickly that I didn't really like having not enough black for contrast, so I think that worked really well for Shu, and Shu has, like I said, black hair, so it worked really well. For here I was trying to push the skull's values if I could, because for Eki, his hair and stuff, or like his general color scheme, is not really dark, so I wasn't sure if I was gonna get a dark enough contrast, which is kind of like a reason why I don't really like this one as much as the one I did for Shu. I think in order, I think I like Shu's the most, and maybe Uki's, and then Yugo, and then the one of Eki. But I like the concept for this one. I think it's kind of fun, and it kind of was like the beginning of what I was thinking for Masaki's drawing as well. Also, that mushroom vacuum, I wanted to talk about it just very briefly. It's basically just a small vacuum. It's run on like one battery, and it's kind of like a handheld vacuum for your desk. And because I don't usually use a white eraser or like a harder eraser, I usually use like kneaded erasers for the most part. So like kneaded erasers don't really leave residue or like eraser shavings or whatever. So I haven't used the mushroom vacuum in a while, but I decided to pull it out because I wanted to keep these actually quite clean and not leave in a lot of the sketchy lines. So I decided that maybe I should use a harder eraser to erase as much as the Pilot Color Eno lines as I could. Oh, by the way, I know I said I was going to keep it red, but I decided to make the flowers actually blue, and then I made his eyes and a few petals around his face red, and then his tips of his hair closer to red, because I thought maybe it would look cool if I kind of had like primary colors here, because I wanted to accentuate the gold in his outfit as well, which is kind of like the earpiece as well as his glasses. And once again, I'm using the cool gray for the rest of the shadows, like on his face, around the skulls and stuff, just because I thought, you know, keep it simple. I don't want to add like skin tone or anything, kind of preserving the weight of the paper a little bit. But I did want to push the values of the hair just a smidge because, like I said, I wanted a little bit more contrast, and in general I feel like this one still has too much white space, so maybe I should have pushed the values even more, especially maybe on the skull a little bit and maybe in his hair. But for the most part, I actually really liked doing these ink drawings, even if it was only for 4 days. I think that was enough for me to be like, you know, this is fine. But hopefully you guys enjoyed watching the process. I'm probably going to leave you guys here, and you guys can watch the rest if you would like to stick around for the actual short Inktober sketchbook tour. I'm just going to label the back, and I'll see you guys then. Bye! Okay, now that I have shown you guys kind of a little bit of the inking process and stuff, what I did for the last few drawings that I did for Inktober, to end off Inktober, I'm going to show you guys the actual drawings that I did, and I basically kept them all in my sketchbook. So let me find where we start so I can show you guys. Okay, yeah, this is where I started. Okay, so this is where we started. So day 1 was Finana. Then I have day 2, which was Alira. Day 3, which was Pomu. Day 4 was Petra. Day 5 was Selene. I did some doodles over here, so don't mind those. Day 6 was Rosemi. Day 7 was Enna. I was running out of time, so she looks hecking derpy. Same with Nina, so that was day 8. Day 9, I did Millie. Day 10 was Reimu. I actually really like these ones. I really like Millie's a lot. I don't want to accidentally show too much in my sketchbook because I did some doodling outside of Inktober as well. So that's day 10. Day 11 is Mista. Day 12 is Ike. Day 13 is Shu. So this is the one you guys saw me draw earlier in the video, and this is day, let's see, day 29. So yeah, I have these ones not in order just because I use it to kind of cover up any of these kinds of pages, so I can kind of keep all my Inktober drawings together. So yeah, this is day 29. This is day 13. Both of them are Shu. I wanted to do Shu again because I didn't really like this one. We have Luca for day 14. Day 15 for Vox. Yeah, this is day 13. So 14, 15. We saw Alira. Day 16 was Sunny. 17 was Yugo. And I kind of had like a different theme going on for these ones. Kind of like after Noctix as well. Oh, I had Eki Eveland. So like the opposite of Ike Eveland. And this was for day... Oh, this one was day 29. I think Shu's was day 28 then, I'm assuming. Day 28 was Alban. We have day 19, Uki. Day 20, Fulgur. Kind of wanted them to match a little bit. Day 21 is Kyo. Day 22 is Maria. Sketching right there. Day 23 was Aster. Day 24 was Aya. I kind of ran out of time for both of these. Day 25 was Ren. Day 26 was Scarla. I kind of went a little bit more messy with this one. So that's how I kind of noticed that I didn't like doing my Inktober like this. And then this is actually day 31, which is today. So we have Uki from, I think it's Waltz of Malice. So he just uploaded a cover. So that is what I did for the last day of Inktober. I had my redemption one for Enna for day 27. And day 30 is Yugo's, and his was for, I believe, another cover, and it was for Queen of Hearts. So that is what this one is based off of. And it's just on another scrap piece of cardstock that I did. And hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. I know it's going to be a little bit rushed because I had to finish this one first before I could actually record, and it's almost 2 a.m. so kind of crammed this one in about, I think, an hour and a half or so, kind of just planning, watching some streams and stuff in the back. But hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I will talk to you guys again probably on Wednesday. Bye!